Hey everyone again, so hopefully you guys were around for our fun video. This video is going to be a little more serious in the sense that I'm going to pick these two's brains on their involvement with kids in music. If you guys don't know, the three of us actually teach kids in different aspects of music, whether it be public, private, or whatever, or a mix of both. So I'm actually kind of really interested to see what they feel or what they think about some of these questions that I have for them. This will be a two-part thing because there's a bunch of questions here and I don't feel like we should have like a super long video. The questions will be centered around teaching kids music and just kind of those aspects of things. How has the transition from learning about teaching kids and actually teaching kids been? Amanda?
Huge.
Huge? Like in what aspect?
It is very different. Doing something like a practicum and having a very controlled environment where you have a sponsor teacher there kind of helping you and watching your steps and supporting you and guiding you, and that's very different than having your own class. And then you are now the leader, you make the rules, and if students misbehave, you're the one that deals with it, and you assign the homework. So it's a very big change going from somebody that is learning to somebody that is now in a leadership role.
I don't think they can prepare you enough at all in school. There's just so many things. Every class is different, every kid is different, and as much as they try to warn you about that, actually being in there and doing it is actually quite a challenge.
The transition has been weird in the sense that I used to be very critical of music educators, but now I definitely find a lot more value for them because I understand just how difficult it is to engage a large group of kids in such a short amount of time. I think growing up, I was very lucky to be in a school that had a really good music program.
Me too.
And then now teaching in these other schools where some of them don't even have a music program. You can just see just how much hard work and how much dedication some of these teachers actually put into these kids in the hope that they'll take music and use it somehow, like in their future lives or something. Even if it's just like, some way for them to de-stress, right?
Not feeling success in something.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some things that you feel that your education has prepared you for? We'll start with Christy first.
Waiting time, I think, is a big thing. Just not expecting students to have the answer right away. Because I taught privately for so long before too, and I always expected the students to know right away because I drill it into them every week. But now I know I have to kind of give them that chance to think about it and answer, especially the ones that are just maybe too shy to say anything in the first place. That was one thing I had to learn.
Unit planning. Unit planning and budget planning were two major projects I did when I was in practicum year, and it was very, very relevant to what I'm doing now, because you are given a set budget every year and you think, okay, this year I can buy this, which means next year I can buy this, which means next year I can buy this. So between that and there is no guidebook for teaching music, so a lot of times you make up your own units as you go along. So all the unit planning I did in my undergrad and in my practicum, that actually came back and helped me out a lot in the past while. So it's huge.
Cool. What are some things that you feel that your education didn't really prepare you for, or something that once you started work, it really surprised you as something that was like, wow, this is not what I was expecting?
Classroom management.
Like in what sense?
There is no teaching that can prepare you for classroom management. There's absolutely none. Until you get into the classroom and you see how the kids are, how they react to each other, how they react to you as a teacher, how they learn. It's stuff that you have to learn as you teach. And as the classes change, you have to adjust how your classroom management is. And there's no surefire way.
Because when you do your practicum, you go in and the kids are already well behaved and they know what they're supposed to do as
It's true, yeah.
So you just assume it's kind of the way that things go, and then you go in and you realize that first month that you're in there is pretty much just figuring out how to kind of deal with them.
Exactly.
I do a lot of choral work through a nonprofit in Victoria, and something that I found that I wasn't prepared for was, like, as a private teacher, the students come to you because either they want to do piano or their parents want them to do piano. So there is like they want to push. Whereas as I'm doing choir, I will have 12 kids one week and 2 the next week because one of their friends was like, hey, let's go play outside, and then all of a sudden I lose all my kids. And it's so hard because the thing is, like, on the one hand, like, you know, like, they're kids, you want them to have fun. On the same time, you're still trying to teach them that they need to be diligent and be consistent because they're going to lose a lot of information every single time.
What do you do with the kids that are in your class and refuse to participate?
Yeah.
Right? You have 25 other kids that you have to deal with. You can't just focus on this one and go, what can I do to help you and make you want to be in this class? There's just no way.
And that's something too, like, as a private educator, I could just kick out a student if I want to. If I don't want to teach them anymore, I'm sorry, go find someone else. But like in the school setting, especially in a program where you don't have the luxury to just kick out anyone because you need numbers, right? It's mandatory, right? Like sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and be like, you know what, you're going to be in my program for a very, very long time, and we're going to try to make this good somehow. What are some misconceptions you had that were changed when you started teaching?
I thought that all kids would enjoy music because it's, you know, when you go to a music class in elementary school, it's mostly fun and games. We make it into fun and games for you.
Yeah.
It was kind of surprising to figure out how many kids really did not like it. Just they actually prefer the structure, or they just don't like music.
I would say that it's how long it would take a kid to learn something musical is a big thing that I had to learn. So maybe I would say this is because I've done music for so long, and we've done music for so long, that stuff comes to us very quickly. We know that this is a triple clef. We know how to read music. But for a kid to just be learning music, to just be learning these terms, it's them, you know, at a very young age learning another language. So that was a big adjustment, having to review and review and review and review, and very slowly add more so that they have that basis.
My thing actually is, like, I don't have as much experience as these two in the public school system, but something that I found that was surprising for me was that schools are a very chaotic place. You think that, oh look, it's Remembrance Day, it's Christmas, it's whatever celebration that the choir or the band is going to play for sure, but like as an educator, you don't actually know if you're going to have a chance to play until very close to the actual event. So then your question is like, do I actually commit to learning a song for Remembrance Day, or do I actually spend that time and commit to Christmas, because I know Christmas is definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? So like, how do you do that? Especially if you only have an hour a week with your kids or something like that. How do you structure your program? Be like, oh, I'm going to dedicate 20 minutes to this one song or one piece that may never see the light of day. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Definitely this whole like, wow, like, I mean, but the thing is like, you also understand and appreciate the administrative staff because they're juggling so much at the same time that you have, at the same time, you're like, oh man, I'm frustrated with you, but I still love you because without you guys, the school would fall apart. Well, this ends the first part, so thank you two for being here. We will come back next week and we will keep on going with these questions. So thank you, see you later.